Young Thug is a rapper that was on trial in Fulton County in Georgia, right? Basically, the state's case, what they were alleging was that he took all of the money that he made from music and he funneled it through and to a gang called YSL, a gang that he was supposedly the leader of, right? And that's the state's case. And the judge in the case looked exhausted.
Jeffrey Williams, in art, Young Thug, was released from jail at the end of October 2024 after he pleaded guilty to 6 counts including possession of drugs and firearm, and he pleaded no contest to 2 additional counts of leading a criminal street gang and conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organization Act, also called RICO. In this video, we're talking about the Young Thug case and in particular the RICO charges. Before we start, hi, my name is Julia. I'm a certified anti-money laundering specialist, and in my day job, I help businesses comply with anti-money laundering regulations. On YouTube, I talk about money laundering, fraud, and all related crimes. If you're interested in these topics, please comment, like, subscribe. You know, all of these things really help the channel. And now let's start from the facts. Young Thug is a successful Atlanta-based artist with stellar collaborations, #1 albums on the Billboard charts, and prizes won as a performance artist, author, and producer. Young Thug started making music in 2010 and created his label Young Stoner Live YSL in 2012. The YSL will be an important part of the RICO case. In May 2022, Young Thug was arrested with 27 other alleged gang members as part of a 56-count indictment. Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis alleged that Young Thug was the leader of the Young Slime Life, again YSL, as a subset of the Bloods, the well-known U.S. nationwide street gang. Young Thug and the rest of the YSL were hit with charges for allegedly participating in violent street activities and conspiring to violate the RICO Act. Young Thug was tied to accusation of multiple violent crimes that the YouTube algorithm will hate for me to say right now that occurred in Atlanta since 2012. Young Thug has been in jail since his arrest in 2022, which means that he spent around 900 days in jail during a very long trial tainted by many issues, a jury selection that took 10 months, 3 different judges, and multiple issues with testimonies, jurors, and other defendants. Also, the trial has been at the center of a cultural debate as some lyrics, videos, and social media posts from Young Thug were used by the prosecution as proof of the gang's action and existence. Critics say that this was a racist violation of freedom of speech and artistic expression. Initially, Young Thug denied all charges, and his legal team argued that YSL was nothing but a record label. This until October 2024, when Young Thug pleaded guilty and no contest on 8 accounts. The judge sentenced him to time served during trial and 15 years probation. One of the charges was under the RICO Act. The RICO charges are often used in criminal cases to target organized crime groups, as it allows authorities to prosecute individuals for being part of a criminal enterprise, even if they did not directly commit the illegal act themselves. So, for example, Young Thug might not have been the actual person who pulled the trigger or physically attacked someone, but as a leader of a gang, he gave certain orders and he can be prosecuted. So, let's talk about RICO.
Because of RICO.
Is he your brother?
No. The RICO statutes.
Oh, of course, right.
The Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organization, also known as RICO Act, is a United States federal law enacted in 1970 by Title IX of the Organized Crime Control Act. The law extends criminal and civil responsibilities for acts performed as part of an ongoing criminal organization. Before the RICO Act, law enforcement struggled to prosecute organized crime syndicates because this organization involved layers of individuals who were not directly participating in the commission of illegal acts. For example, there would be the mafia boss and then under them there is the leader of a specific chapter, and then the leader of the group, then the soldiers that commit the crimes. Before the RICO Act, it was very difficult to get the Italian-American mafia to pay for its crimes. I talk about this problem in another video about Al Capone, linked below, where eventually he had to be charged with tax evasion because nothing else could be directly linked to him. Under RICO, generally it is unlawful to use or invest income derived from a pattern of racketeering to acquire an interest in an enterprise, acquire or maintain an interest in an enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity, conduct or participate in the affair of an enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity, or conspire to violate any of the foregoing provisions. In other words, a RICO Act is twofold. First, a person must engage in a pattern of racketeering activity, which generally means committing at least 2 criminal acts from a list of specific offenses like bribery, fraud, and money laundering within a period of 10 years. Second, the person must be part of a group that is engaged in legal activity, for example, a criminal gang or the mafia. Because of this, it was very important for the Young Thug RICO case to demonstrate that YSL is a criminal gang rather than just the record label.
There's one dude that was on the stand, right? And prosecutor asked him a very specific question, very specific reason. She goes, did Young Thug have an issue with Rich Homie Quan bringing his friend to the party, right? Now, Rich Homie Quan is also a rapper who has sadly passed away. But his friend, to the best of my knowledge, allegedly, is a gang member, right? This whole question is to paint Young Thug as a leader of a gang. That's why he would have a problem with a different gang member coming to his party, right? So the prosecutor asked, did Young Thug have an issue with Rich Homie Quan bringing his friend to the party? And then this guy on the stand goes, Thug, did you have an issue with Rich Homie Quan?
While RICO has been praised for its effectiveness in dismantling criminal organization, it is not free from criticism. Antonio Khalifa argues that, quote, the High Court has interpreted the key statutory terms enterprise, racketeering activity, and pattern in a way that greatly expands the applicability of RICO instead of narrowing it, end quote. This has meant that RICO has been applied in a broader sense, even against non-violent offenders or in cases where the pattern of racketeering was not clearly proven. This broad application has raised concerns about civil liberties. Khalifa continues, quote, originally intended to combat organized crime, RICO is used increasingly in ideological disputes. We saw in the Young Thug case that RICO was successfully used to connect Young Thug to a broader framework of criminal activities. This was possible because even with its problem and criticism, the RICO Act is an important tool to combat organized crimes. There are no specific allegations of money laundering in the Young Thug case, but I want to add to today's analysis that RICO is an important tool to combat money laundering in the United States. I'm saying this because RICO allows prosecutors to go after not just individual acts of money laundering, but a broader range of associated criminal activities. This is significant because money laundering does not occur in isolation, and it is an integral part of the functioning of the organized crime. Money laundering requires a predicate offense, which is the underlying illegal activity that generates proceeds, like fraud or theft. These legal proceeds are then landed and reinvested in further criminal activities. By prosecuting an entire criminal group, authorities can dismantle the organization and stop the laundering operation, and in turn stop the cycle of crime. It is surprising to me that not all countries have RICO-style legislations. For example, in the other biggest Western economy, the European Union, many countries do not have RICO-style laws. One exception is Italy, which has effective laws to combat organized crime because of its long-standing history with the Italian mafia. And in fact, the Italian Criminal Code criminalized membership in an association performed by 3 or more people that use intimidation and associative bond and the condition of subjugation to commit crime or gain unjust profits. The inexistence of similar provisions in other European Union members creates major legal and operational challenges to prosecute transnational organized crime, so pretty much a big chunk of all crime. The situation is so dire that in 2013, Europol, the Central Police Intelligence Agency of the European Union, called for an harmonization of European Union laws on organized crime, and especially Europol recommended that, quote, being a member of a mafia-type organization must be considered as a crime per se. But not much has changed on this front since the report. This is all for me now. Thank you for watching till the end. Let me know what you think about the video. Let me know if your country have RICO style legislation. So I'm really curious about that. My name is Julia from Total AML. Comment, like, subscribe, you know the usual. Also, give me a follow on LinkedIn where I talk more about anti-money laundering. And this is all for me now, and I'll see you on the next one.